This is Pocket Watching with JT, the call-in financial talk show focused on helping you get your money right. Jayson Thornton is a certified financial planner, licensed in both tax and investments. Now, this is not personal financial advice. This is JT's real reaction to all your money and business questions. Are you deep in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, and looking for a way out? Call Pocket Watching with JT, the financial advisor for the people. Need more? Book your personal consultation with my man JT at PocketWatcher.net. Now, let's go Pocket Watching.
Hey, Pocket Watchers. Welcome to Pocket Watching with JT. I am certified financial planner Jayson Thornton. That means I am a real financial advisor. I do not play one on the internet like the fake gurus. I do this in real life. In my actual firm, I specialize in tax and retirement planning for my clients. But on YouTube, I react to scammer news, your money questions, and bad financial advice. Big shout out to the over 122,000 of you who have already subscribed to Pocket Watching with JT. I appreciate that. Now, do me a favor. Hit the like button, share this content. All right. Now, if you're new, just sit back, relax. You may like it. You may want to subscribe a little bit later. But for all of my old heads, to my day one Pocket Watchers, help me out. Hit that like button, share the content. Let's have some fun. All right, let's get straight into it. Now, many of you Pocket Watchers out there, you've been sending me this story. There was a story about bank fraud and Navy Federal Credit Union. So, of course, you sent me this story. And first, when I looked at it, I was like, do I really want to do another story about bank fraud and Navy Federal Credit Union? But enough of you hit me up. You sent me different links and stuff, and you want me to check it out. So I said, okay. All right, I'll check the story out. I'll see how it goes. But then the Pocket Watcher mind started going, and you can't believe the rabbit hole I jumped down into. So I figured, let's go ahead and do a show. But for those of you who are unaware of what I'm talking about, these three gentlemen right here. Most importantly, the first guy, he's the most important figure in this story. His name is Stephen. We'll talk about Stephen a little later in the show. We'll go in depth about what's going on with Stephen. But these three gentlemen are being accused by the government of committing bank fraud at Navy Federal Credit Union. A little background I want you guys to see, and we'll get back to it. But it's the same old from the same crew. Check this out.
Story, Columbus police giving us new details tonight on a Columbus financial institution employee who is accused of fraud crimes adding up to nearly $1 million. A scary scenario, as most of us want to trust our money is safe at banks. Newsletter 9's Gabriella Johnson joins us live in studio after learning more about this arrest from the property crimes detective on the case. Gabriella, banks, have tough security. So how did this employee slip through the cracks?
Well, Jason, Columbus detectives say he committed his crimes under the noses of surveillance cameras and courtesy officers, using legitimate customers at his desk during regular hours as he covered up while he deposited fake checks, opened car loans, and sent money to himself. Now, Steve Verrett, former Navy Federal Credit Union employee, is in the Muskogee County Jail.
We really don't know how big this is.
Columbus Police Property and Violent Crimes units made an arrest in a fraud investigation they got wind of several months ago.
It started with a call from North Carolina, detective in North Carolina. They were working some check fraud cases, and the checks were being funneled through a bank account, and the account holder lived here in Columbus.
That led to the person whose account the check traced back to reaching out to police saying they didn't commit a crime.
Started putting some things together, and that led us to the Navy Federal Credit Union employee actually being the one that was depositing the checks.
That employee is Stephen Verrett, who police arrested this week at his second job. He's now charged with forgery and identity fraud, adding up to $800,000, prompting him to be fired from Navy Federal in February, according to Sergeant Jane Edenfield.
15 what were warrants that became charges off of one bank account. And then there's 7 other bank accounts. So we're having to work it by account and what happened. Because like this one, it was checks. There's a couple other accounts where vehicle loans were opened, but there was no vehicle. There's a couple other accounts where vehicle loans were opened, but there was no vehicle.
You remind me of something. I just can't think of what it is.
You could take the 250.
But you can also take the credit and go get a line of credit, which is cash. So probably more than that too.
I want to hear how we just split the credit. Give him the mic.
Y'all in for a treat. So,
And please talk to them about line of credits too while you're at it. When you get done.
Yeah.
it's even bigger than line of credit. So if you got somebody coming out the street, so we must be straight to a demographic of what you said. You got a lot of niggas that's gonna come out here and be like, I ain't got shit, fuck that credit, right? But in reality, they don't know is that if I come with a bank where I got 50,000 and I'm not willing to trust nobody to invest, what I'm gonna do is I will go to a bank. You can go to Navy Federal, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're the best.
You go to Navy Federal right now and apply for an auto loan. You could pull a VIN number off of Car Gurus. They'll give you a loan. If you say, okay, look, I'm gonna get y'all to play. You go in there and say, I need 100,000, right?
What's your credit gotta be?
700 plus, right? I give a blueprint on this show how to build your credit report out in detail. You go to Navy Federal, say, listen, I need to get 100,000. You get a Car Guru VIN number, and when you get the VIN number, you put it and mark it down 10,000. They cut you the check 24 hours.
A cargo, say that again.
Car Guru. Just get a VIN number to apply for the loan.
Right.
They gonna cut you the check 24 hours. You got 90 days to give them the title. If you don't give them the title, it turns into a personal loan. So they just legally gave you the loan. It ain't nothing illegal. It turns into a personal loan. But ain't no way in hell you can go to the bank and get a personal loan. So for everybody out there, if you get your credit up, it's free game on this show. Then what happens is, okay, you got 100,000 from the bank.
Slow down.
Hold on, yo.
Slow down. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it over and over. Don't worry. Slow that shit down. Do it again. Don't slow. We're gonna watch it over and over.
You just got 100,000 from the bank. It's an auto loan. Mm-hmm. It's at 3% for the first 90 days.
3%?
3 to 5%, right?
Damn.
For the first 90 days. After that, it turns to a personal loan. The interest rate go higher. What happens is now you got a bankroll. So now if you want to risk somebody money, risk the bank's money. So when you see a Wall Street trapper, when you see the Earn Your Leisures in the Earners Anonymous, you now can say, okay, well, shit, them folk money anyway. So I'll put 10,000 over there, test it out. See, this is where now, but what happens is most of us will get the money and go blow it. Instead of going blowing it, you got these white folk money, go invest it. Go figure out and gamble their money. So now instead of rolling dice, you're saying, okay, let me put 10,000 on Ethereum. Let me put 10,000 in Bitcoin and see how it grows. Then you start to learn and then you get comfortable because now that's the beauty of all of us. We got communities where you can come and get with people who look like you, who making the same moves. When you got niggas out the streets making 200,000 a month who look like you off of investing money, flipping less than you had, right? They flipping less than you had, but they making 200,000 a month and they look just like you. Mm-hmm. The issue is education and getting comfortable. But if you ain't comfortable enough to risk what you didn't risk your life for, then go get the white folk money with the credit. Come back and play the game with them. That's how you're going to get to the next level. That's how you earn your leisure.
I'm with him.
Big fact.
We're out both buttons. Yeah, both. I'm with him.
That's why he's here.
Y'all remember y'all asked why we travel with it?
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, fuck that cash. I'm with him. Y'all can get the cash.
Right.
Yeah, I got everything. And I'm finna get this nigga's number as soon as we get out of here. Like, for real. Like, yes, respectfully.
There's a couple other accounts where vehicle loans were opened, but there was no vehicle. Like somebody legitimately has the vehicle and they're driving it, but they got the money for the vehicle. Well, that's one of the other accounts. This arrest was the very tip of the iceberg.
Police say additional charges for Verrett and arrest of co-conspirators are pending.
Be multiple arrest warrants for multiple people per those 8-9 accounts. So, I mean, it's, I don't know, that's going to be 15 arrest warrants per account.
And Sergeant Edenfield tells me that during the arrest Tuesday for Verrett, he was telling police that he's innocent. He's scheduled for a preliminary hearing in Columbus Recorder's Court this Friday at 9 a.m. We'll keep you updated on this large fraud investigation. In studio, Gabriella Johnson for WTVM News Leader 9.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm sure new details will come out in court later this week as well. All right, thank you, Gabriella.
Details on the Navy Federal Credit Union fraud case in Columbus that involved hundreds of thousands of dollars. So far, 3 men have been arrested, but the Columbus Police Department says they're only the tip of the iceberg. News Leader 9's Gabriella Johnson explains.
It's kind of like peeling an onion. It's every time we peel a layer, something else pops up.
Columbus Police Property Crimes Unit is continuing to peel layers off of an ongoing investigation involving fraudulent activity at the Navy Federal Credit Union on Veterans Parkway in Columbus. So far, Stephen Verrett, Demetrius Redding, and most recently Curtis Davis have been arrested. But police say this isn't it.
Not 10 more and not one more, but we've got probably a handful more coming.
Davis, the third suspect, pleading not guilty in court Thursday. His attorney, Mike Garner, says he has only had 2 days to review his client's case.
He's accused of cashing one of the checks, and that's pretty much his role in it, was helping somebody else, according to what the police say.
Police say Davis reportedly got cash from Verrett on multiple occasions.
This situation, Mr. Davis was able to walk out of the bank with $122,000. As soon as they deposited the checks, they would either get cashier checks from Navy Fed or they would get actual cash. And we can see on video surveillance money envelopes, him putting in his pocket and then walking out the door.
But Garner says evidence is slim.
Just know that the evidence against him is very slight. And that's why apparently they've waited this long to make a case against him.
Police say the latest in this investigation came from those 2 checks deposited into the account of Christopher Upshaw, someone in federal prison, and another account belonging to Jermaine Thurkield Jr., who is deceased.
Mr. Davis, they were depositing checks into Mr. Upshaw's account. Jermaine Thurkield was a similar situation. His account was being used to deposit checks, withdraw cash, things like that. And all of that fraudulent activity in Mr. Thurkield's account happened after he was deceased. Mr. Upshaw is in federal prison for shooting at an FBI agent, so he can't consent.
Investigators say they will continue to peel back the layers of this onion and are certain that will mean more arrests in the days ahead.
That was Gabriella Johnson reporting. No bond was set for Curtis Davis in court since he was out on bond from an unrelated case from a few years ago.
A financial crimes case from the Navy Federal Credit Union continues to grow, and Columbus police say the scam could take months to unravel. The only person charged so far, Stephen Verrett-Lamar, made his second appearance in court in a week this afternoon. WRBL's Chuck Williams was in Recorder's Court today. He's been digging deeper to understand this complex details surrounding the case. Chuck?
Phil, they are complex. To understand this case, you need to understand 2 things. The first financial crimes victim was murdered before the alleged criminal activity was detected on his Navy federal account. The second victim of a financial crime is in federal prison after being convicted of shooting at an FBI agent earlier this year. Stephen Verrett-Lamar said little Wednesday in court as he answered to 16 additional charges of financial crimes ranging from fraud to theft by conversion. He now faces 31 counts, with the investigation months from being over. After more than 2 months of investigating a case that started in North Carolina, Columbus police are now talking.
So I don't know that I would say this was one of the most sophisticated financial crimes that our investigators have worked and over the past. It was a slick scam being run by someone internal.
A lot of the cases, he was an employee with the Navy Federal Credit Union, so he used his position at that bank and his ability to log in to people's accounts to manipulate those accounts and move money and deposit checks and withdraw funds. And that's a lot of the computer theft, computer invasion of privacy charges, those type of charges as well.
Police say the current charges reflect only 2 of at least 8 bank accounts they are scrutinizing. It is a multi-agency, multi-jurisdictional investigation. Police are not saying what other agencies are involved at this time. The first victim was Jermaine Thurkield. He was shot to death in November 2023 off Flat Rock Road in Columbus. The second victim was Christopher Upshaw Jr. Here's what Edenfield says about Upshaw.
He's been in Muskogee County Jail for nearly a year and was in jail prior to this fraud starting on his Navy Federal bank account. And then he just made a plea deal with the FBI and is in federal prison. So everything that happened to his account was after he was in prison, and he had no way to sign any of the documents that he allegedly signed or anything of that nature.
What is happening, though, just like with most financial crimes, is every time they get into one of these accounts, they find something else. It could be a loan issue. It could be some other type of financial type issue or some other type crime that they're having to go down and investigate as well.
Phil, Verrett-Lamar was represented by attorney William Kendrick today. Kendrick declined comment. Stay tuned.
All right. Thank you, Chuck.
All right. Let's go over this together. Let's put our thinking caps on for a second. This is not the most sophisticated of crimes. It seems to me, I may be wrong, it seems to me that you had some unsophisticated clowns who may have listened to a podcast, or maybe they joined into some fake guru's course, and they learned something that they thought was going to help them. They learned some white-collar crime tricks and applied it in real life. That's what it sounds like to me. Now, listen, there's so many things that went wrong in this situation where I really feel at this point, I think Navy Federal has a problem. All right? Navy Federal Credit Union has a huge problem. A lot of this could have been stopped years ago. Many, many years ago, a lot of this could have been stopped. But I feel as if at this point, Navy Federal is dropping the ball. And for you Navy Federal reps out there, members, people who love your bank, employees, pay attention to this. Tonight is going to be an opportunity for you to learn. All right? I'm going to give you step-by-step process of how you could have prevented this. Now pay attention. Pay attention. This is very important. There were so many red flags in this situation that you could have caught before $1 million plus or whatever was lost. So I just want you to pay attention here. There were many red flags. So let's go over it. Red flag number one. Now this is to me. I'm going to say something to you that maybe you didn't learn in school. But this is coming from me, and this is coming from the heart. There was a high level of professionalism issues. Okay, now let me explain what I mean. Growing up, I'm sure many of you were told, do not judge a book by its cover. I'm sure, I know, I can bet on it. You were told, do not judge a book by its cover. Reality is, we judge books by their covers every day. This is why publishing companies spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars on the book cover. All right? We do it every day. Now, to bring that into reality, everyday life, we judge people based off how they look, what they say, and what they do. Once again, we judge people based on how they look, how they speak, and the actions that they do. All right? Now, many of you will say, well, JT, that's unfair. It doesn't matter. Now, I'm not talking about your personal genetics of how you look. When I say how you look, I'm talking about the way you present yourself. If we're in a professional environment, I expect a professional look. If we're in a professional environment, I expect for you to speak professionally. I expect for you to act professionally, right? Now, I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how much you know about business or how much you claim to know about business. If you begin to speak in a manner that seems unprofessional, it don't matter. So I'm going to show you guys something. And it's disturbing to me. I don't know how you'll feel about it, but it's extremely disturbing to me. And it's just going to show you how far the rabbit hole I've gone down in this story. Now, prepare yourself for this. Some of you will say, JT, that is Photoshop. This could not be real. I got it. I just want you to see this. This is the guy at the bank actually on his job. Look at this just for a second. This is a candid picture that someone apparently in Columbus, Georgia, they went to Navy Federal and they saw this. And they were so shocked, I would think appalled by the appearance of this man, they had to take a picture. They had to take a picture. And I understand why. Now, once again, I'm pointing the finger at Navy Federal, and let me explain why. I am a business owner. There is no way in hell would I allow someone working for me, an employee of mine, to walk through the door of my establishment looking like this. There's no way. Listen, one of two things is going to happen if you work for me and you walk through the door looking like this. You are either going home directly, like don't pass go, do not collect $200. You are going straight home. You are leaving the establishment. Don't clock in, keep it pushing. Or you are going to go to the bathroom and you are going to wash the spray paint off your head. How can you take this seriously? If this man is, listen. But I'm not trying to be funny. I'm speaking straight from the heart. My father taught me many lessons in my life that have saved me from so many headaches. But one of the lessons that my father taught me, he taught me that if a man can easily lie to himself, he'll have no problem lying to you. Let me say that again. If a man or woman has no problems lying to themselves, they will always lie to you. If this man convinced himself that this paint on his hair, or his head, this paint on his head is an acceptable look, regardless if he was going to work or if he was going to work out. If he thinks this is acceptable, there's a problem. That means he will tell you anything. Whatever pops inside of his mind, to get whatever he wants, he will tell you anything because he has already lied to himself. Now, here's the problem with Navy Federal. You allowed this man to walk through the doors of your branch in Columbus, Georgia, looking like this and interact with your customers. A man who would do this to himself, he would easily steal from you. He's already, listen, this is offensive, right? I'm not just upset because I'm embarrassed for this man, Stephen. No. I'm way past being embarrassed for him. I'm upset because I feel as if it's an offense to me and all of us who are forced to see this. Because now we're stuck with a couple of options, right? We can act like Stevie Wonder, right? And act like we don't see it, right? We just don't, we don't see the paint in your hair, man. I want to cash my check. Let me get $1,500. I need about 220. Like, you're just avoiding eye contact with this man who is supposed to be handling your money. So I can act like Stevie Wonder and just act as if I don't see him. That's option number one, which once again is an offense to me. You're making me do something out of character. That's wrong. Two, I look at it, but I act as if it's okay. Maybe even compliment you on your tie, right? While trying to ignore the most likely, because this had to have been earlier in the day, because by the time his shift ended, there had to be a drip. There had to be a drip at some point, because the paint doesn't always stay, there had to be a drip at some point. So I've got to act as if I see it, but I ignore it. Or most likely, now I have to tell you something about yourself. Now I've got to be the a-hole. I've got to be the one to say, whoa, what's this? Is it Halloween? What's going on? What you got on your head? Is this a joke? Is this a prank? Right now, I'm the bad guy because I'm pointing out something that's obvious. Now, back to Navy Federal. For you to let this man walk into your doors to represent your brand, your company, and interact with your customers shows that you do not care about your brand. And if you do not care about your brand, then you don't care about me. Because if you're dropping the ball here, there's a good chance that you're dropping the ball somewhere else with my money. And according to the story, you were. Now, this isn't a one-off. I want to show you something. They took another picture. Just let you know that like this is what he did. This wasn't like, hey, he did this. This was real for him. Red flag number one, the level of professionalism, the ability to lie to yourself, to look like that and think that it's okay to interact with other people and to play around with their money. Navy Federal, you should have knew something was wrong. You should have knew at jump when he walked in with this paint job on his head, he was probably robbing you. He was probably stealing money. If he would do this, he would rob from you. He would rob from you. So that's red flag number one. Red flag number one. Let's go to red flag number two. Now, red flag number two. Personal financial issues. Personal financial issues. What are you talking about, JT? All right. So if you've never worked in the financial services industry, you wouldn't know this, but Navy Federal absolutely should know this. If you have some sort of personal financial issue in your life, it will most likely disqualify you for a position within financial services. It's extremely hard for you to be trusted managing people's money or whatever it is within the world of financial services. It's extremely hard for you to be trusted if you cannot manage your own financial affairs. I think that's kind of clear. Here's an analogy, or here's an example. Jermaine D. Morrison, the man who collected millions upon millions of dollars from Black people around this country. He was supposed to set up the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. This is an investment fund where he was going to take the money from many Black people. I think it was like 5,000. I forget the number, but it was thousands of Black people. He was supposed to collect your money and invest it in real estate or real estate adjacent projects. Like it's either real estate or it's some sort of project related to real estate. He was then going to make a profit by investing in real estate or real estate type of projects. And then we all of the investors would enjoy in the profits. It kind of makes sense, but here's the problem. A month before Jay Morrison starts the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, he filed for personal Chapter 7 bankruptcy. So it doesn't match up of how he was going to manage the money of the people in a good way to produce a return when he failed in his own personal life to manage his own money, right? I think that makes sense. So that's why normally you got bad problems with money issues in your personal life. You're normally not trusted with a position in financial services. Now, Navy Federal should know this, but apparently Navy Federal, they dropped the ball. Because when I jumped through the rabbit hole of this, I found in 2016, he filed for bankruptcy. He filed for bankruptcy in 2016. And we're going to go through this bankruptcy together because I think it's a learning opportunity. All right. It is a learning opportunity because this bankruptcy is very, very interesting. Now, there's something I want you to pay attention to. This was filed, it looks like, in September of 2016. Now, he filed Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Okay, Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Now, many of you may be asking, JT, what is Chapter 13 bankruptcy? It's a good question because Chapter 13 is different from the bankruptcy you're probably thinking of. The bankruptcy you're thinking of is Chapter 7 bankruptcy. That's what Jay Morrison did. Chapter 7 bankruptcy is the type of bankruptcy that we refer to as liquidation. That's when you throw your hands up and say, I ain't got it. I don't have the money. Anything I got, you can take, sell off everything that I have. Even if you do, you're still not going to pay everybody off, but that's going to wipe the slate clean. You don't owe anyone anymore. Chapter 7. That's not what he filed for. In 2016, this man filed for Chapter 13. What is Chapter 13? Chapter 13 bankruptcy is what's referred to as reorganization of debt. It's a wage earners payment plan. When you file for Chapter 13, it stops all of your creditors, the people who you owe money to, it stops them from taking away your stuff. If you own a home, it will stop foreclosure. You own a car, it will stop the repo man. It will make them stop. They cannot take your stuff, and it allows you an opportunity to set up a payment plan to get everything back on pace. That's what he filed for back in 2016. And I just want to show you guys this because it's very important. Some of you guys need to take out your notes on this because it's very important. I want you to look at this here. This man is claiming that all of his property, everything that he owns in this world, adds up to be less than $18,000. This is back in 2016. He says all of his debts, when you add all his debts together, is about $83,000. So when he says, hey, I need y'all to back up off me, I need to get my stuff together, but I'll set up a payment plan. This is what Stephen is saying to the court. Now, when it talks about his income and his expenses, he says, listen, I make about $2,800 a month. This is what he makes a month back in 2016. $2,800 a month. But my expenses are $2,300. So I got a little money left at the end of the month. So I'll set up a payment plan. I'll get everybody together. Just give me some time. Don't take my stuff. And listen, I'm going to be taking callers soon. As soon as I get done with this bankruptcy, I'm going to be taking callers. The link is in the chat. It's pinned to the top of the chat because I want to hear from you guys. This is very important. But look at this. He's got a couple $100 at the end of each month, and he's saying, I can set up a payment plan to get everybody whole. Just give me some time. All right. Now, I want you to look at what he owns. What does he own? All right. In 2016, he owns a 2008 Nissan Armada. And he says it's worth about a little less than $12,000. So he owns a Nissan Armada. What else does he own? He's got little furniture, electronics, clothes, all that put together. It comes to about $3,200. All his personal property, about $3,200. Okay. Now, what about cash and investments? Cash and investments. He says that he has $200 cash. $200. That's all he has. $200. That's what he has. All right. In a checking account, he's got $200. What about investments? Well, in investments, he says he's got $2,500 in his 401k from AT&T. Remember, he works at AT&T back in 2016. Keep that in your head because we're going to circle back to that later. $2,500 AT&T 401k. That's all he has. So when it comes to cash and investments, he has $2,700. All in this world. This is back in 2016. All right. Okay. So when you look at that, you say to yourself, yeah, this man is in some financial trouble. He's in some financial trouble. Let's look at the debt because I think the debt is important. Now, let's talk about that Nissan for a second. Apparently, this Nissan, 2008 Nissan, he owes $23,289. The car is only worth about half of that. Okay? The car is worth half of that. Car is worth about $11,000. Now, you may be asking, why does he owe 2 times what the car is worth? Not only does he owe 2 times what the car is worth, his credit was not good enough to get it on his own. It clearly states that his mother had to co-sign for the car. Once again, real quick, pocket watchers. I've said this before, but a lot of you guys are new. Let me tell you straight up, this is a pocket watcher rule. If I create the pocket watcher 10 commandments, this rule is on the 10 commandments. Never co-sign for anyone, for anything. I'm going to say that again. Never co-sign for anyone, for anything. It will almost always end with a problem. If you're going to co-sign for someone, you might as well just buy it yourself and let them borrow it from time to time. Because ultimately, that's probably what's going to happen. So, girlfriend, do not let boyfriend into your life and you co-sign for it. Boyfriend, do not let girlfriend come in your life and you co-sign. You might as well just buy it and let them borrow it. Because when they file for bankruptcy, it's still going to show up negatively on you. You're going to be on the hook. So never, and this is his mother. He's got his mother on the hook. And I guess it doesn't matter. So his mother is joint on this. So now I want to explain to you why the car costs 2 times, or he owes 2 times what the car is actually worth. It's all in the bankruptcy. The bankruptcy for finance nerds like myself, a bankruptcy is almost like a novel, right? It's like a soap opera. It gives you all the information you need to know about a person's financial life. You just got to know how to read it. He owes 2 times what this Nissan is worth. The reason why he owes 2 times what this Nissan is worth is because originally he had a car with Ally Finance. Okay, follow me here. He bought a car through Ally Finance. Then he traded the vehicle in while he still owed money on the vehicle. Okay, says it right here, traded in vehicle. So when he traded in the vehicle, that debt most likely rolled into his new used car that he bought. And that's why he owes 2 times what it's worth. Okay? 2 times what it's worth, because he didn't pay off his first car and just rolled the debt into another one. Don't do that. That's a lesson for you kiddos out there. Don't do that. All right, let's keep it going. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to take calls. I see people in the back. Just be patient. I want to get through this because there's a lot of good stuff here. Now, remember when I said he worked for AT&T, okay? He worked for AT&T. And I said, I want you to remember he works for AT&T. This man owes AT&T $680 for an unpaid phone bill. He works for AT&T and he owes them $680 and he works for AT&T. This is not a man that a bank should hire that would be around other people's money. That's the point I'm trying to make. And all of this is public record. All of this could have been easily found by the hiring agent of the Navy Federal Branch who said this man with paint in his hair, I want him to work for us. Whoever said the man with paint in his hair doesn't work for us, you could have easily. I did this today. I want to be clear. I am not a full-time YouTuber. I have not been spending like weeks or days doing this. I found this about 2 to 3 hours before I did the show. This doesn't take long, but this man should never been around other people's money. He works for AT&T, but owes them about $700. He has $200 to his name. All right. I'm gonna try to get through this. There's other stuff I want to talk about. The Capital One, the credit card debt. Yes, it's stupid. He's got $3,000 on the Capital One credit card. Bank of America credit card, $5,000 that he owes. It's just dumb debt. It's dumb debt. Here's another $5,000 that he owes on a Discover card. Stupid stuff. All right. A gym membership, Max Fitness, $600. Like little stupid things that, hey, maybe some of you who are watching, you owe debt like this. You got to get rid of debt like this. It's dumb. Wells Fargo, he owes $4,400. Wells Fargo credit cards, multiple accounts with Wells Fargo. He owes about a bunch of debt. This is all before he became ended up being an employee of Navy Federal. Navy Federal should have had some questions for him. Easily had some questions for him. All right, so it's 2016, and he ends up filing for bankruptcy. Now, once again, this man filed for Chapter 13. Chapter 13 is not total liquidation. Chapter 13 is just say, listen, I've got some money coming in. I'm not negative each month. I got some money coming in, and trust me, I can pay you guys off. I just need some time. Now, I can tell you right now that this man failed spectacularly. He was not successful in this Chapter 13 payment plan. The reason why I know he was not successful in this Chapter 13 payment plan is because in 2020, he now files for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Okay, just follow me here. 2020, he now files for Chapter 7 total liquidation. I ain't got it. Bankruptcy. So the 2016 payment plan didn't go through good. I just want to show you the difference between the 2016 bankruptcy and the 2020 bankruptcy, and I'll start taking calls. I see you guys back there. I'm going to get to you. Trust me. But this is important. It may help some of you who are out here with some money issues. But look at this. All right. Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Liquidation. It wipes out the debt. It forces you to sell assets. You have to sell off some of your assets. Now, some of you may not have any assets, so it's not that big of a deal. But if you have assets, you're going to end up selling them off. Now, there is certain exemptions, but I'm telling you, those exemptions are low. You're talking about like a $4,500 or $5,000 exemption for your car and stuff like that. It's not a very high exemption level, okay? But let's see this real quick. This is what running the play gets you. Right? This is what running the play gets you. I want to show you where he is now. Now he says in 2020, all of his stuff, if you add up everything he owns, is less than $25,000. But now his debt is now over $120,000. So not only was he unsuccessful in his payment plan, Chapter 13 bankruptcy in 2016, he's in even more debt. He's in even more debt than he was when he started out in 2016. And let me show you how. All right. So what does he own now? Remember, before, the biggest asset that he had was the 2008 Nissan. What does he have now? Well, now he has a 2014 Audi A8. Why? Why do you have a 2014 Audi A8? You were barely making it with the 2008 Nissan. Now you have a 2014 Audi A8. And look at the differences between these cars real quick. He goes from the SUV 2008 Nissan Armada. Now he's in the foreign. He's in the 2014 Audi A8, and he's still broke. Okay? This man is broke. He has a negative net worth, and he has no money left at the end of the month. After he pays all his bills, he has absolutely no money left. This is what he's saying to the court. I have no money left over, but I go from a 2008 Nissan Armada to a 2014 Audi A8. Okay. All right. I guess we're running the play. Back to it. All right. So here we go. I want to show you what he now claims as his cash and investments in 2020. Remember, in 2016, as far as cash was concerned, all he had was $200. He had $200 in cash. He had $2,500 in his AT&T 401k. Now, in 2020, he has $0 in his Navy Federal Credit Union account. He has $0 in his USAA account. He has $0 in his SunTrust bank account. This man is claiming he has no money. He has no cash. He has absolutely no cash in 2020. This is what this man is claiming. What about his investments? Let's take a look at his investments. Now, his Sprint account. In 2016, his 401k from Sprint, it was AT&T, but I'm sure it got switched over the name of the account, but what up? He's got a 401k from Sprint, $2,000. That's what he's got. He's got $6,000 in his Navy Federal Credit Union 401k. So if he would have rolled over, I guess, from AT&T to Sprint or whatever, it's less. This is the point I'm trying to make. He had $2,500 before. Let's say he rolled it over into the Sprint. Now it's $2,000. But he does have $6,000 in the 401k with Navy Federal, but he has no cash. He has absolutely no cash on hand. Okay. All right. We're getting through this. I'm sorry. It's just the story is amazing. Now, I want you to look how much money he owes. How much money he owes on the Audi. The 2014 Audi, he owes $22,633 on the Audi. Now, you may be asking, well, did he pay off the other loan, the other auto loan? Good question. Did he pay off the other auto loan? According to this, he did not. The other auto loan that he had was with man, what was the name of that company? It was started with an S. Give me 1 second here. It's the whole thing is so sad, man. This is why you cannot let a car break you. Okay, these cars mean absolutely nothing. Okay, these cars mean nothing, but you put yourselves in situations where you allow a car to leave you paycheck to paycheck. Okay, you cannot do this. Where's this car? Let's see. The car, he still owed like $16,000 for the old car. I can't find it now, but listen, trust me, he still owes $16,000 on the old car. $16,000 on the old car, even though he's got this other car. This man also spent, apparently, he spent about almost a little over $9,000 on furniture. He's got like this loan from One Main. It's like furniture, $9,000. It's household goods. This makes absolutely no sense. He owes the government. He owes Georgia Department of Revenue about $7,000. And it's for recent years, right? He filed this in 2020. So 2018, 2019, he owes back taxes to the state. He also owes the IRS. How much here? About $18,558 he owes to the IRS. This man should not be handling other people's money. the temptation of stealing is way too high. This man is broke and he owes everybody money. Okay. All right, here's the last little bit that I want to go over, okay? Still owes AT&T. Still, in 2020, he still owes AT&T. He still owes these credit cards, all this stuff, okay? DirecTV, these are things that just makes no sense. His Discover card, still over $5,000, okay? He owes $23,500 to this company here. I looked it up. This is some local credit union in Columbus, Georgia. He still owes the $611 to the gym membership. Still. All right. Now, one last bit that I have to show you. This is the last little thing that I do when I normally check on the subjects of my videos. I take a look and I say to myself, if this person is willing to risk their freedom over money, lose their job, lose their reputation, willing to put paint all over their head, I would bet money that this person most likely got a PPP loan. This isn't science. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just looking at a pattern of behavior. And I said to myself, this guy got a PPP loan. He had to. This guy must have got a PPP loan. And believe it or not, he did not get a PPP loan. I was shocked. I was like, a man who is doing what he's doing, he must have got a PPP loan. But I'm here to tell you today, nope, he did not get a PPP loan. He got 3 PPP loans. All right? 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 PPP loans. And here it is. This is my PPP loan. Well, here's Stephen. And listen, this may not be him. Maybe it's not, but he has a very unique name, and he's from a particular town. All right? So maybe it's not him, but apparently someone with his same name. He got 1 PPP loan March 30th, 2021 for $16,327. He got another PPP loan April the 22nd, 2021 for $16,327. Then he got another one, apparently the same week, April the 28th, 2021, for $16,666. Now, here's the thing that I want you to pay attention to. When I went through this man's bankruptcy and the income that he claimed, there was a particular question in the bankruptcy that asked, do you own a business? Do you own a business? He marked on that bankruptcy for 2020. He said, no, I do not own a business. This is on the bankruptcy. He declared he does not own a business. But according to his PPP loan, he said that he had a business that existed more than 2 years old. Apparently, he was in the world of real estate, and that's why he got this PPP loan. Then the other PPP loan, he's saying, once again, I'm in real estate. I deserve this PPP loan. Then in this one, he's not in real estate. Again, this one is general automotive repair. He's a mechanic apparently now, and he got this PPP loan, even though on his bankruptcy filed in federal court in 2020, and if we do simple math, 2021 and 2020 is only a 1-year difference. So somebody's lying. He said he owned no business. So that's what we are, people. That's what we are. We got the usual suspects, but listen, Navy Federal. I mean, what are we doing here, man? I mean, within 5 minutes of Google search, I could see that this man had absolutely no business, okay? Absolutely no business working with any type of money, financial management, none of that. Now, you could say, well, JT, you know, maybe they wanted to give this man a second chance. They saw that he had with some money issues, and you know, everyone deserves a second chance. I can somewhat agree with that, right? I can kind of get with that, giving someone a second chance. But when he walked through the door, all right, when he walked through the door like this, that's an immediate, you're fired. Get out of here. Take your shoe polish and go home. I cannot have you in my establishment representing the best interests of my customers in their financial lives with shoe polish on your head. That's what I would have said. That's what any reasonable manager would have done. But apparently with Navy Federal, they got some issues. All right, so let's go to the calls. Let's go to the calls. I'll go straight to the calls, people. Thank you for indulging me, but I'm telling you, this is crazy. This never should have happened, but it gets wild. So I got James back here. I got Don't Trust Them in the back. I'm going to go through one by one. We're going to get through this. So let me bring up James. James, you're live on air with Pocket Watching with JT. What's going on?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
All right. See, I'm going to have to ask y'all to get off homeboy because their hairline says that he's extremely focused. He went from 0 to 45 real quick. Y'all got to leave him alone about that. He was focused on defrauding people. Leave him alone about that. I know I was working on that joke for like 30 seconds right now. Yes.
I'm telling you, there's people like this. And I'm gonna let you continue, but I gotta get this off of my chest because this pains me. This upsets me.
Mm-hmm.
People who put, and this is men, I'm talking about you, men out there. I'm talking to the men, the so-called men. And big shouts out to everyone who was super chatting. Matthew Gordon, thank you so much. I appreciate it. J Dub, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know how to say this, but Yeezys, whatever. Thank you, new member of the channel. I appreciate it. And yes, one of our all-star moderators, Philip Sadiq, thank you so much. But let me say this. Let me get this off my chest.
Yep.
If you are a man, all right, a respectable individual, maybe you're a father, maybe you're a husband, even if you don't have a family, but you're just a upstanding individual, you want to do good in your community, you want to be of service to people. Listen, stop putting paint on your head and in your beard. Okay? And let me explain why. You are lying to yourself and you're challenging our integrity.
Listen,
if you lose your hair, it's natural. I lost my hair. Now it grows out. Believe it or not, it grows out, but there's spots and the hairline's a little back. So just shave it.
Yep.
But the beard gang, the people who are putting beard, there is a host of a very popular podcast, financial podcast. They say that they're the biggest in the world. Biggest in the world. They do it for the culture. I'm not going to drop names because you know who you are. You know who you are. And listen, we've gone back and forth, sometimes in these videos that I've done. I know you're not a fan of what I do. I'm not a fan of you not vetting your guests. I like the overall brand of what you're trying to do over there with your podcast, but I don't like the fact that you don't vet your guests. But what I'm about to say right now has nothing to do with the scammers who you platformed on your show. This is directly to just you, man to man. Stop putting paint in your beard. Stop it. We all know you have paint in your beard. It's not as if we think that's hair, right? You do it sometimes in your head too. You're off and on. Sometimes you'll give yourself the fake hairline. Sometimes you'll be baldy. But that damn beard of yours, you're not fooling anybody, right? Whatever God blessed you as far as hair follicles on your face, just shake that up. If you don't like it, go clean. But brother, Rashad, stop putting paint in your beard. Because what that tells me is you are a person who cannot deal with reality. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being petty. No, I know I'm being petty. But still, when you put that paint in your beard in the morning, Rashad, and you look in the mirror, what are you thinking? Do you think we think that's hair? What happens is we know that you want something in life. Just follow me here. You want something in life. You want a full-grown beard. Many men do. You want a fully grown beard. But for whatever reason, God has not blessed you with a fully grown beard. It's okay. God does not bless everyone the same way. But instead of dealing with reality, you said, F it. I'm going to throw paint on it. And to me, that speaks to your integrity. And I feel as if when you start to wash off the paint in your beard, you'll also see other aspects in your life where maybe integrity is a little off. Now, I'm not a mental health professional. I'm just a very petty financial advisor, but I think that's something that you should think about. Man,
he's speaking truth to y'all.
Man. All right, I'm sorry, James. Go right ahead.
I just want to get my joke off real quick. That's all I wanted.
Go ahead.
Hey, you taught me how to be petty and petty in a fun way, and I appreciate you for that. Second of all, I'm a veteran, so I know about Navy Federal and stuff. If this is like the lackadaisical stuff that they're trying to do, it brings into question, like, is Navy Federal as an entity safe with my money? I mean, like, y'all hiring Pookie the crackhead with the focused hairline. When he turned 50 years old, I just imagine like it's gonna go from that 2-inch gap down to a point, and he's always gonna be on point. Just remember that. So all my other I know you ain't do that to me. Oh Lord Jesus, no. Oh look, with the sweatshirt on, with the red tie, my dog, like, just go bald. JT, you pull off the ball. I know so many bald folks out here, and they make it work. You don't have to put the shoe polish in your head, bro. You can make stuff happen.
It's okay.
Like you said, if they're fake with, they're presenting themselves to somebody else, they're going to be fake with you. If they're going to be fake with you, and then they say, "Hey, give me $20," JT, you got to stop switching the photo on because I keep looking down like, Lord Jesus. He went from bald to having a full head of wavy hair. What the? Did he have his features put in? Damn. Stop doing this to me, dog. I've been drinking tonight. You can't be doing this to me.
I'm sorry, man. It's the reality.
But it's like you say, it's the reality of what we deal with. He sold hope. Oh, get a Navy Fed. They'll loan you anything. Now I'm seeing they'll hire anybody. So I may need to find another bank. That's how I look at it.
Listen,
that's the sad part about it.
Navy Federal refuses to step up their hiring practices, if they refuse to close the loophole where you have Ray and Pookie, getting checks for cars that they'll never buy because him 500 told them to, run the play. I wouldn't get my money with Navy Federal.
And that's what's so frustrating about it, because I've been with Navy Federal since 2010. So 14 years I've been with them.
Mm-hmm.
I got personal loans out with them. I'm upside down with them. I say I owe about $23,000 in debt. I'm not confronted or irritated with that kind of stuff, because as a responsible adult, I want to pay that money back. That's when I tell people about borrowing. If you borrow, you got to pay back.
Pay back.
If Navy Federal just out here just hiring anybody, do I need to apply? Can I just go get the shoe polish and just line myself up real quick and get, hey, Navy Federal? Because I'll tell you this, in Georgia, you walk into a Navy Federal, you're going to walk into black women. And if you walk into black women with that fucked up ass hairline, hey, dog, you may not get hired.
See, that's the point I'm trying to get. Like, how did he even get past the front door? Like, you can't tell me that a person who cares about him, who's like his co-worker said, "Hey, bro, let's go to the bathroom real quick. We gotta talk about something." Wash that off. It's like
Just made the gap water, my dog. Like, come on, dude.
Like when you
Instead
see
of
this,
2, give me 5.
this guy's stealing. He's stealing. He's got to be stealing. All right, listen, Jay, I got these other calls.
I feel you. You have a good night. I hope this one day I see you with that.
Oh, man, this is. Look, I mean, look, then why is his forehead so like he didn't even try to make it look real like, oh my God. All right, James, I appreciate it. I got Bianca back here. I got Don't Trust Him back here. Let me bring up Don't Trust Him. Don't Trust Him. You're live on the air with Pocket Watcher.
Hey, can you hear me, JT?
Yes, sir.
Man, it's really sad because I've conducted interviews, and these jackals that you show up on the screen have passed the interview, but when they come there and they perform, you're wondering like, wow, did they study theater in school? But going to my topics now, it's crazy because Navy Federal has been a part of all this scandals more so than any other bank that I've seen. And of course, we've all learned it from him 500 from EYL, teaching you how to run the play. But one thing I wanted to ask you though is, outside of government agencies, don't they vet these kind of people for these like background checks for, bankruptcies and so forth? You would think that Navy Federal would have those things in place.
They're supposed to usually. Now, as a financial advisor, yes, I have to declare. Like if I file bankruptcy, I think they give me, it used to be 30 days. It may be like 2 weeks now. I can't remember off the top of my head because they just kind of updated the standards as a certified financial planner on the reporting, right? There's like, you have to report. Like if a client claims that I stole money from them, even if I know I didn't steal money from them, I have to report it to the CFP board. I have to at least tell them, hey, someone's claiming I stole money. Here's the proof that I didn't, but I got to tell them. Same thing if I had to file for bankruptcy. I have to report it or I will get in trouble. When we're talking about people who are working at banks or any type of financial institution, last time I checked, when you go through the interview process, these things are supposed to be, a part of the questionnaire about your personal financial situation. There's certain things. I mean, I thought they run credit checks. If they would have ran a credit check on this dude, there's no way he should have been working at that bank. If they would have just simply saw the bankruptcy, the money that he owed money to AT&T while he was working for AT&T. Like, how insane could that be? You work for AT&T. That would have been the first bill I would have paid if I'm working for AT&T. But it shows a lack of responsibility, and it also shows a lack of integrity, which you should not be a part of the financial services industry if you have clear examples of that.
Definitely. And with that hairstyle, it looked like he put a toupee on and in
the back. Listen, I know some of y'all like, oh, JT, you being petty, keep bringing this up, but I want to show you what he's talking about, because what he's talking about is important. Look how clean bald his head is. But if you look at the back here, see that hump?
Yes.
That hump is something. That hump right here, right before it goes straight paint and skin, right? Because it's straight paint and skin right here. But back here, I don't know what that is. Because it can't be hair. Like, what is this hump? I don't know. Is that a man unit with paint as the edges? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm bald too, man. And not a single day have I been blessed to have just a little bit of reflection of here. But one thing I wanted to point out too is that one picture where he got that paint on. I'm like, I could expect this at an airport or a TSA agent, but at Navy Federal though.
I mean, look at it. You see it's like matted hair.
Yeah.
Here. I don't get it.
And one last thing I wanted to point out there. I think the problem is when it comes to these credit fraud is that what I've seen is that they know that once they go through the credit repair process, where they was able to get all that wiped off their credit history, they know that they can get more free money. So I think that's why they just keep on playing the game. And I just want to get your take on that. It seems like once they clear their credit, they go straight back into debt.
Yeah.
there's no consequences. That's all I got to say.
No, and listen, man, thank you so much for coming up. I 100% agree with you. I think one of the big issues is when people file for bankruptcy, a lot of people don't learn their lesson, right? The lesson that you're supposed to learn is I have to properly manage my money. I have to spend less than I make. When you allow a person to just get their debts forgiven, they didn't learn a lesson. And because they didn't learn their lesson, it's easy for them to get right back into trouble, right? So yeah, I see that all the time. Let me bring up Bianca. Bianca, you're live on the air with Pocket Watching with JT. What's going on?
Hey, JT. Whew, this is a crazy story, but I'm so glad that you actually, as a financial advisor, because people think those in the financial industry don't care about appearance because everything is numbers. But let me tell you, one of the key indicators to a person's character is how well they take care of themselves.
Yes.
And because I do marketing and branding, and this is something people hate to hear when I'm telling them about their appearance, or when we just talk about it in general on any given day. How you show up is how people treat you. And with him showing up, you intentionally showed up to work that way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Listen, I imagine that man got up in the morning at least 2 hours before he had to be at the job. Because that's not a quick do. He got up in the morning at least 2 hours before he had to be there, and he put on like the one person said, a quick weave, right? Yeah. Whatever this thing is, and he lined up his edges, right? He lined his edges up, and he was like, "I'm looking good." I'm telling you, this man, he smiled at his reflection before he walked out the door. Because if he didn't, he would have just wiped it off.
But the delusion is on overdrive. That really shows you in his mind where he is. He could convince his own self.
Yes.
That I am showing up and I am able to hide a portion of myself, which is basically what people do in scamming. They're hiding a portion of themselves that is not integral. So you couldn't even be integral to your own hairline. That ain't shade. That's just telling you to own it. You didn't even find a way to present yourself. And now you want me to take my money to you. You want me to even invest my time into you. And you know what this reminds me of? This really reminds me of like an inside job, kind of like what happened with that Dalton mayor who hired the sex offender to go and search homes.
Yes.
Because there was an issue. A lot of people is asking, well, why wasn't there a background check? Well, of course there is a procedure, but you cannot stop something terrible from happening unless the person in charge of the procedure just choose not to do it. So somebody said, well, let's just give you a shot. And the only way that would happen is if they actually had some kind of investment in him or friendship with him, because there's just no way that a Navy federal would allow this to surpass like through the door. I don't even know how he would have been able to get an account with them, let alone work with them.
Yeah, man. There's no way, because it's like people think like, yeah, okay, JT's trying to be funny, but I'm being real. This is disrespectful to your coworkers because they gotta sit through the whole day and try to have like polite conversations with you, right? Like, the person to the left of him, right? The person sitting to the left of him trying to do their job, when a customer comes up, they're gonna be like, hey, come here. What's up with your brother? Like, is that real? Like they have to now take up for you in your foolishness. They gotta be like, nah, I mean, he's going through something right now. He's going through bankruptcy right now. He having issues with his baby mama, because I did see some child support issues in the bankruptcy. I didn't show it because the baby mom's name is in there, but obviously, like, he's obviously has some things going on in his life right now. But now you're making your coworkers have to make excuses for you looking like this. Like, if you're not mentally stable enough to come into work and to deal with other people's money, keep your ass at home.
And it's so distracting in such an important space. If you want to work at, no disrespect, any of the Foot Locker or shoe store, if you want to do all that, no disrespect, go over there and do all of that. But not when I'm putting my money in the bank and I'm dealing with serious issues. I just don't know how they let this fly, because there's always a work exterior. There's always a professionalism. And I know we hate to talk about it, but this ain't even petty. Like, you can look at him and see something in his eyes even is not all there.
Right.
Something about him does not look fully aware. And I mean, I don't know his mental capacity, but something seems extremely off.
Yeah. And we have created a culture of politeness to the point where you could seriously put yourself in a dangerous situation. You don't know what this man is liable to do. A man who would put this on his head could easily go postal. He could easily go postal.
And
so what happens when a joker like Pocket Watching with JT walks in the bank and laughs in his face? He's coming in the next day geared up, and he's going postal. Because y'all let him, for the past 3 months, walk around like this, like everything's okay. He meets someone like me who gives no F's about hurting his feelings in the moment, because I'm trying to help him for the rest of his life. And I'm going to say something. You need to wipe that off your head. Now he's lost his mind because his so-called friends and co-workers and his family members who are like, oh, he's going to be okay. Give him some time. You didn't let him really think he looks good. And then now, because I destroyed his self-image, he wants to go postal.
That's it.
Now we got a news story.
Because he done went buku crazy, and that's the New Orleans word, but really buku crazy, because we really have created a culture where we coddle and we look beyond and past some things. And I'm all for being kind and respectful, but at some point we also have to realize that our senses and what we see and what we need to pay attention to, sometimes that's a really good indicator of whether you should deal with the person or not, how you should deal with them. Maybe you should go somewhere else. And a lot of the character flaws will come out if you don't just keep on surpassing them just to be nice. But somebody was nice in this situation, and it didn't work out for some people.
Yeah, they were too nice. And because of this, like you see this man is exactly what you said. You see this man and you know something is off. Now you have to start asking questions like, what else could be happening? Apparently, according to the authorities, nearly $1 million embezzled from this financial institution from a man who looked like this, who shouldn't have even walked through the door and had access to do any of this.
It's just awful. It's just awful. And then you have people who are actually capable of doing the job. For some reason, they get the red tape, and people like this just pass by. I really, really believe somebody in that branch, whoever was overhiring, gave him an opportunity, like a Dalton Mayer, and decided to let him in that space. And this is just really terrible. But yeah, this is a lesson for all of us. Sometimes and most of the times you need to pay attention to your senses, because your senses are trying to tell you something. And for everybody who's a Christian, I am one too. But even the Bible says you will know them by their fruit. And your fruit is you got up this morning, you put that on, and you showed up here intentionally looking like that, which lets me know you are not somebody who I want to invest in today.
No, not at all. Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, you have a great night. Now, I want to speak to Nicholas, because she said a couple of things here that I want to address. She says that he could sue for discrimination. I don't believe he could. I don't believe he could. And you also say, well, if he's doing his job, it's really nothing you can do. I disagree. I know many companies, including my own. I know many companies that would have certain rules and regulations as far as, your dress code, as far as your grooming, right? I worked at a place before where, and this is when I was really young, I think it was either an internship or something. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was a particular person where the manager had to remind this person to take a shower. Like he would come in very, very dirty. He would come in very smelly. You could see his hair was all matted and clumped up. And they had to tell him, listen, man, if you don't go home and clean yourself up, you're fired. It can, that's not discrimination. That's a healthcare issue, right? There's issues here. There's signs, is what I'm trying to say. And I don't think this man would have been able to sue for discrimination. I think that the bank would have been well within their rights to tell this man to go home and clean off his head. And if he had a problem with it, he can stay home. That's what I think. All right. We've got PPP and we have the devil's advocate. Let me bring up PPP. You're live on there with Pocket Watching with JT. What's going on? PPP, are you there? Going once. Going twice. All right, maybe you can come back a little later. Let me bring up the devil's advocate. You're live on air.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go right ahead.
Yeah, JT, I had first off, great show, love your show, etc. I had a question, I guess it's not really, maybe a rhetorical question. I just wanted your comments on. And you've kind of alluded to this before, but in general, right, for all of the, you do a lot of shows on the actual fraudsters, the scammers, the people perpetuating these frauds. But, as you point out, most of these frauds are so blatantly obvious. Let's say 90% of them are so badly done / blatantly obvious. Would you say at the root, at the core of this issue of people getting scammed, etc., it's kind of the victim's fault, meaning you fell for something so blatantly obvious that a lot of this is simply on you, not absolving the scammers. I just kind of wanted your opinion on that.
It's a tough question. I get this question somewhat a lot. I don't want to be a victim blamer, and I have to take it from the standpoint of the big picture. Okay. Who's the victims here? Well, the victim ultimately is going to be the bank, because most of these customers should be covered with FDIC insurance, right? If you have up to like $250,000 per account, most of these customers, they should be fine, especially when a lot of the money that he took was based on running the play. He had loans for cars, but the car wasn't real. So that's the bank taking the hit. So that's the bank being the victim right there. And in that situation, I am victim blaming, because the bank should have seen this person who they hired walking into their establishment looking like this, and they should have said something's off about this guy. And if something's off about him, he could be robbing us blind. Now, let's turn the tables and talk about individuals. When individuals get scammed, they normally get scammed when they're in a moment of weakness. Okay, follow me here. A moment of weakness. Most people, when their life is okay, when everything is steady, they have a job, they're able to pay their bills, they're doing good. Don't have to be balling, don't have to be a multi-millionaire, but someone who has enough money to pay their bills and still have fun on the weekends. They are normally not the target audience for scammers. But when they fall on hard times, when they get laid off, when they're 2 months behind on rent, now all of a sudden, the same scammer, the same fake guru, the same grifter 6 months ago, if they would have saw the advertisement, or if they would have got hit up in the DM, it would have been ignored. Most likely, it probably was ignored, They probably did see this person on social media. They probably did get a DM, but they ignored it because their money wasn't funny. Then when their money got funny, when times got hard, when they're sweating bullets about how they're going to put food on the table, how they're going to keep from being evicted, now when they see the same offer from the same scammer, now their ears are open. Now they're willing to risk it all because they say to themselves, what do I have to lose? And then they get got. So in that situation, I am blaming the scammer more than the victim, because the bank is an institution that had many safeguards that I agree with the last caller. Someone within that bank ignored the regulations and trusted this guy and wanted to help this guy or give him a hookup or whatever, and he fell through the cracks. The bank should have been able to weed him out. Clearly, just looking at the screen, the bank should have weeded him out. But individuals get got because they're in a bad financial situation. Their financial literacy probably isn't the best, and they have someone dangling in front of them everything that they need, or the promise of everything that they need. They bite, and next thing you know, they get got. So that's
right, but to your point, I agree with you. They're in a weak position, a vulnerable position. But I guess some of these scams are so blatant. I understand anybody could be in a vulnerable position, but I feel like a lot of it.
Name one. Name me a type of scam that you feel like, hey, listen, I feel for the victim, but you should have known better. Give me the type of scam. What do you think? Give me an example.
I mean, almost all of them you show, but one that comes to mind, and this shouldn't come to mind because it's not really a scam, if I'm being honest with you. It's the whole Jay Morrison situation, which is not a scam technically, right? It's not a scam, but it's like this so obviously probably wasn't gonna go good, period. Like anybody should have seen this.
Okay, I got you there. Okay, well, so your name is the devil's advocate. Now it's my turn to play your role. I don't think so, and let me explain why. You had people like Dr. Boyce Watkins, a finance PhD, who gave the green light and the thumbs up to this investment firm. He said in front of the whole audience, then it was recorded and shown all over the world through the internet. He said, I'm a finance PhD. I asked Jay Morrison very hard questions about this fund. I teach finance, and I was amazed by the answers Jay Morrison gave me. This has a really good foundation. The average Black man and woman in America, the target audience of Jay Morrison in this fund, do not have even close to the financial literacy of a Dr. Boyce Watkins. If he said it's good, then it must be good. I'll go even further. You can go online, unless they already started taking down their videos. There was a bunch of people who interviewed Jay Morrison as he did his run-up for this fund. Ash Cash interviewed him about this fund, and he gave it his green light. Ash Cash said that this was a good fund. Jay Morrison's a good guy. He was on Earn Your Leisure. Earn Your Leisure was smart enough to take the podcast down, but you can still find it somewhere. Most likely on Jay Morrison's YouTube channel, you can see him hanging out with Earn Your Leisure. They asked him questions and was like, wow, okay, that's impressive. I thought they were supposed to help get in front of us good investment opportunities and raise the level of financial education. And there's a bunch of smaller YouTubers, and you know who you are because I recorded it. If I wanted to be petty, I would call you out. YouTubers who have 20,000, 5,000, 40,000, 75,000 subscribers, right? Yeah, I know who you are. You all were pumping this up and bigging it up when he was on his press run, when he was going around the different radio shows and podcasts and YouTube channels. He was pushing this hard, and everyone was saying, I support this.
But it's the same logical flaw though, meaning someone just believed this and did zero research. Like take for example, right? I'm not into real estate at all. The only real estate I own is my house, right? But when I first bought my house, this was such a big, even though I had a real estate attorney, this was such a big purchase. Like I read the mortgage agreement, right? Didn't understand it all. That's what the attorney for. But even I didn't just want to take my attorney's word for everything's okay, just sign here. I want to try to get an understanding of some things, right? Because this is the biggest purchase of my life. I just can't leave it to an attorney. I'm just going to use for this one transaction. So in that way, I feel like there's two types of people. There's people who, if they're going to pull up a certain amount of money that means a lot to them, they're going to try to do some basic research, even if they're not an expert in the field, irrespective of what other experts are saying, whether it's their attorney or their favorite YouTuber. And then there's people who just won't do that. To your point, they look at somebody who's an expert and just follow them, do zero research on their own. And that's what ultimately ends them up in it. If you did any type of research on real estate funds, you would have seen even the fees were exorbitant for someone who never ran a fund. If you just did a basic search, regardless of what your favorite YouTuber was telling you, right?
But the thing is, people said it. Right? Tone from Tone Talks, Yvette Cornell, Eli from What Happened to Common Sense. Before that fund launch, they all said this. And in the numbers of thousands of people still bought in. They still bought in because their voices, even though they got decent platforms, right? We're all peers on this YouTube thing, but the platforms that Jay Morrison went on were even bigger. He did ad after ad on like the Shade Room and Baller Alert. They have millions of followers. Tone Talks, Yvette Cornell, Eli, myself. I mean, we've got a good number of followers, but we ain't got millions of subscribers. And that's where he went. And that's how he was able to get over.
Yeah, fair enough. Yep.
All right, listen, bro, thank you so much. I got one more caller, and then we're probably going to wrap it up. Thanks for calling in.
See you.
All right, we got, looks like Malik. Malik, you're live on the air with Pocket Watcher with JT. What's going on?
What's up, JT? Right now, I just kind of jumped in, and I just saw a man with a spray tan hairline on, and I couldn't contain myself.
Listen, there was that. I can't find the comment right now, but somebody said his hairline looks exactly like he just outlined his credit card. Now, if you wasn't here earlier, I talked about all the credit card debt this man was in. It does look like he used one of the many credit cards that he is highly in debt in and just used that as an outline. I almost died.
I mean, I kind of wouldn't be surprised. It's basically useless the way he uses it. I mean, you go bankrupt twice. I just don't see how people, especially like I myself am in the service as well. I'm in the Navy, and it's the fact that it just I know I couldn't believe that a trusted financial organization would allow somebody that has such a bad rap history. And I'm like yourself. I'm all for giving second chances. I'm all for forgiving people. But when it comes to money, I don't think twice. Once you scam me once, you don't scam me again. I just don't see how it plays a lot of men that has such bad credit history when it comes to the idea of saving money, spending money, and having all this debt, and is not giving this money allowed to a financial organization with a crazy sprayed on hairline. Like if I was a manager, you're going home. I don't care how you feel. You're either fired or you're going home.
You go to that bathroom, you wash it out, or you going home for the day, man. You need to go ahead and clock out. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, see it, and I agree with you fully. I mean, there's a certain level of professionalism that you have to bring to the table, especially in an organization like that. And imagine being like the owner, like somebody like a general manager of the bank walks in and sees you right there. The hiring manager might get fired that day because what is this? A fucking Plato's house? I don't know. It's terrible. It's terrible. But just I don't know. I'm just the lack of accountability for the person that hired them. They obviously should be fired. And two, why let a person into such a big financial organization when their finances are not in order? It's just terrible.
It's crazy. And listen, and I know I just want to give a shout out to listen, Miss Moreland. Miss Moreland, if you're an attorney, I would absolutely have you on my team because you are doing one heck of a job trying to defend this man. But listen, just look at what you typed. You said that it has nothing to do with him doing his job. The man got fired for embezzling hundreds of thousands of dollars. So obviously, something was off with his appearance and something was off about his performance. And I'm saying, I think they're connected.
Yeah, see, and Miss Merlin, I no offense to you, but I just think that if anybody that worked in a financial organization, a lot of men with the spray tan on the hairline walk in and work there, they all gotta go. Everybody who ever hired them, all gotta go, because that is ridiculous.
Clean house. At that point, clean house. Because it reminds me of, it's like, listen, either you're in on the scam or you're too dumb to recognize it. Either you are so dumb that you think this man looking like this, it's okay for him to work here, or you have the same mindset of a man like this. You really do think it's okay for him to look like this, and you gotta go. Either way, you're walking out that door right behind this man with the shoe polish.
Exactly. I mean, I didn't know we're hiring employees from Temu at this point, so I know it's getting kind of tough out here. Or BET's backup lineup that didn't make the shows, or Power and stuff like that. So, yeah, JT, I don't keep you up for much longer, but I said, I'm just kind of disappointed about how we let a man with sprayed hairline in there with terrible financial credit, has tons of debt, and we just don't check him. What happened to accountability? What happened to him not letting people into higher level positions that don't have the credibility for it?
The standards, man, the standards that we have for this so-called culture of ours is so in the dumpster, it's ridiculous. Standards are okay to have in every aspect of life. I'm not the type of person who says, oh, you have to have designer clothes. You have to do this. No, whatever clothes you have, just make sure that they're cleaned and pressed. That's it. Clean and pressed. This man obviously was going through some issues. I went through his bankruptcy. He had issues where his mom, and now listen, his car was not the only thing that his mom co-signed on. If I had time, I'd show you guys more, but his mom co-signed on some other debt that he had as well. So obviously he had issues. He couldn't even buy a car on his own without his mother co-signing. He had, back taxes that he wasn't paying. Apparently he had issues with child support, because the child support stuff was also in the bankruptcy. And then he's walking around like this. So you wake up one day and you find out that this man has embezzled over $800,000. There was clues before that happened, is what I'm trying to say. There were clues.
Well, I 100% agree with you. I mean, I just don't think I just don't see how you do it to your own mom, the person that I think you come to, you trust the most. I mean, I'd imagine so. And you ruin your mom's credit, you ruin her life, and then you walk in with the McDonald's hairline, expecting to get a high level job, but somehow you do get it, and then you rob people again. I mean, a scam is just scam, like the Jay Morrisons and the $1 billion worth of game podcast. I just think it's just a terrible. We have terrible standards for the black community. We allow too many people who are frauds to get in these high level positions, and then we're all surprised when they scam people. No, it was all he has a McDonald's hairline. What are we talking about? Right. He's been scamming people.
What did you expect? Did you expect for him to? It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, but JT, I won't keep you much longer. I know you got a lot of stuff to get on, but just hopefully this teaches our people to learn a lesson that we should raise the bar for our culture. You got to have real hair or go bald. Decide on what you want to do before you get to work.
Figure it out. And listen, to all of you guys out there who are laughing, but you got paint in your beard, this goes for you too. You don't get to walk around as if you're better than this man right here. If you got paint in your beard right now, wash it out. I don't want to see paint on above your eyebrows or below your eyebrows. Keep the paint out your head, either on top or below. Because once again, a person who put paint either on your head or in your beard, you are a person who refuses to deal with reality. And if you refuse to deal with reality, then you're willing to do anything. If you will lie, you'll steal. If you steal, you kill. And I'm saying if you're willing to put paint either on top of your head or in your beard, you're willing to lie to my face because you're already lying to yourself every morning you wake up and you put on your makeup.
JT.
All right. Listen, people, thank you so much. This is Pocket Watching with JT. Yes, I am extremely petty, but there's lessons to be learned. All right. There's lessons to be learned here. All right. Your appearance matters. If you see something, say something. Maybe the bank could have avoided losing hundreds of thousands of dollars if someone would have said, you know what? That brother has a problem. Y'all need to check into that brother instead of walking around as if everything is okay. Now, all right. Now, I know I made a lot of fun of the brothers. I know I made a lot of fun of the brothers' financial situation because it was absolutely wild. And in no way, shape, or form should this person have ever been in a position in a financial institution. Some of you wrote in the chat, and I saw you. Some of you wrote in the chat, well, JT, I'm in a similar situation, or, how can you help? How can you help? Listen, all right. So as you all know, I am a board certified financial advisor. I have created a free course to help you learn how to budget, to stop living paycheck to paycheck, and to get out of debt. It costs you absolutely nothing, no money whatsoever. I am not a fake guru. I'm actually a certified financial planner. If you go to my website, PocketWatcher.net, just go to the website, PocketWatcher.net, go right here to free Pocket Watcher Academy. It's right there, free Pocket Watcher Academy, and you can enroll for free. There's videos, there's handouts, there's an ebook of how to set up your budget, how to build an emergency savings fund, and how to get out of debt. There's another resource. If you go right here to the free personal finance quiz, it takes you 3 to 5 minutes to fill out this free personal finance quiz. It's going to ask you questions like, how much money do you make a month? How much do you spend on rent or your mortgage? How much do you spend on food? Simple financial questions. After you submit your information, a report will be generated where it will show you, based on the type of money that you make, this is what your budget should look like. Based on how much money you make, this is what your emergency fund should look like. Based on how much money you make, this is how much you need to be saving for retirement. Based on your age, in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 60s, this is how your retirement fund should look. And there's a whole ebook that gets produced. All it takes is 3 to 5 minutes, not a whole lot of time, 3 to 5 minutes in the personal finance quiz, and you can get a lot of good information for free. So if you have problems being able to pay your bills, if you have problems with your debt, this will help you. Will it do the work for you? Absolutely not. Let me be clear here. It will not do the work for you. You will not all of a sudden enroll in this free course, and then 2 weeks later, all your debt's gone. You're going to have to actually apply the information in the course and change the way that you spend your money. But if you follow the instructions within the course, it's not going to happen overnight, but each week, each month that you make better decisions with your money, you will be better financially. All right. And plus, you can always call in the show, ask me a question, and I can do what I can to help you out. All right. That's how it works. So listen, Pocket Watcher is out. I will be back next week unless something crazy happens, but the Pocket Watcher is out. Thank you guys for joining me. Y'all have a great weekend.
Hey, Pocket Watchers, are you looking for real financial advice? Thornton Advisor Group is here to help. Jayson Thornton, certified financial planner, specializes in tax and wealth planning. Are you living paycheck to paycheck with no retirement plan? Do you need help with the IRS? Book your consultation with Thornton Advisor Group to get a financial plan, budgeting, savings, debt management, tax planning, investing, and retirement, even IRS debt settlements. Stop trying to run the play. Get the advice you need to live your best life from a certified financial planner. Book your consultation appointment today. Go to www.thorntonadvisor.com.